Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, you just watched a video on pushes and pulls and why that is important to force in motion because pushes and pulls are what causes motion. If we think about Newton's first law of motion, an object at rest stays at rest. Okay, so just think about that. Think about if you put a pencil down on your desk or on a table and you just walked away from it, it's just going to sit there, right? As long as nobody walks by and bumps the table and touches the pencil or does anything like that, it should just sit there. And it will just sit there until something makes it move. Some sort of force would have to make it move, okay? Maybe somebody picks it up. That would be a pull because they're pulling it up off the table. They're pulling it away from gravity, okay? Maybe it gets pushed, all right? Maybe the table gets bumped and it pushes the pencil off, okay? Or it starts to roll away. So, a force is needed to move an object, and that force is a type of push or pull. Basically, anything that moves is the result of a push or a pull of some sort. When a force has been used to move an object, then work has been done. So, work is that push or pull, okay? Just a couple examples. This is pretty easy. Here's some examples of pulls. If you're fishing and you catch a fish, you're going to pull it out of the water. You're zipping up, you're pulling up on that zipper, okay? Or you might be pulling down on the zipper. Here you're pulling a box off of a shelf. Here's some pushes. Pushing somebody on a swing, pushing a doorbell. And then here's some examples. Here's a pull. And then the dad back here, he's like pushing a buggy. Okay, so these are just some examples of pushes and pulls. Whoops, didn't mean to move him. Sorry. Put him back up here. Oops, sorry there. All right, so what have we learned? We've learned if an object isn't moving, it's at rest, it'll take a force to make it move. So if an object isn't moving, it's just resting there, it's going to take some sort of force, like a push or a pull, to make it move. Okay? So if we think about Newton's second law of motion, the more mass an object has, the more force it takes to move it. Which one of these two objects do you think would require more force to move? A bowling ball or a beach ball? Which one do you think would be harder to move? Yeah, the bowling ball. I know it's round and all, but still, if you just had to pick it up, think about that, just picking it up. This has a lot more mass than this beach ball. It's a lot heavier, it's dense, it's solid. So it has a lot more to it, a lot more mass. It's heavier, therefore it's going to require a bigger pull to pick it up than the beach ball would. And all of these things are kind of, I know they're a little bit common sense. They're things you already know, but they're important to understanding how force and motion works. So, our two new vocabulary words that you're going to add on to your vocabulary sheet today are force, which is a push or pull on an object, and work, which is using a force to move an object or using a push or a pull to use an object. Okay? This is a very busy frog. So you're going to pull your vocabulary sheet back up today to add these two words to it. And the way you're going to do that is when you go into well, you're already in your science module, I'm sorry. But if you look over on that menu on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see Google Drive. And you want to go ahead and click on your Google Drive, and it may ask you to sign in using your Google password. But then you should see your folders that you've created. And hopefully this was saved in your science folder. If not, I guess it'll just be sitting there on your Google Drive. But you just want to go back to that worksheet, add in force and work. Make sure you've got those two terms added to it. And then again, just leave it there. You don't need to submit it because we're not finished with all the vocabulary yet. There is also it would be a cut and paste if you were in class, but you're not. So it's a drop and drag activity that you'll open up for practice. So you can practice, decide which category different actions go into. You're going to sort them into pushes or pulls. And that one you will submit today when you finish with it. So that's it for me for Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.